Good morning and welcome to a stunning Saturday in the Tyrol of Austria. We're just above the double Olympic city of Igls, Innsbruck, ready for the second day of competition of the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Championships. Martin Haven, and in the booth alongside me, the reigning world and Olympic champion in women's skeleton, Lizzie Arnold. And Lizzie, after the first day's action, we've got a great battle for the medals set up.
Oh, don't we just? Sophia Grebel in the first run, she was midfield and absolutely smashed the second run with the fastest run time. She's half a second behind the leader, Tina Hermann, her teammate. And then in second position, we've got their home girl, Janine Flock. So, Janine Flock, midfield start, but she finds time in this track that no one else can find. So she's got amazing support today. Only 1500s between her and Tina Hermann. So a Königssee-based German slider. She's won 4 races on the World Cup circuit this year. A fierce competitor and the track record holder.
Well, Tina Hermann with the overnight lead. What about that in a 4-heat race? Does that give you more relaxation or can it add more pressure?
It is so tough to say. Tina Hermann's, she hasn't done an Olympics, but she's been in the World Championships before. She knows the 4-run race format. Some athletes hate the overnight stay and they think about racing the whole night, and some athletes thrive off it.
Well, the gap second to third is 3700ths. The gap from third to 12th is 3700ths of a second, covering the next 9 sleds. So we could see some massive changes here. We start our field with the fastest first, and that means second on ice will be this girl, and first on ice will be that girl, Tina Hermann. Janine Flock just up at the top earlier. She was doing her sprints and her drills. But actually, somebody asked her to stop and sign a photograph. Yes, and she spent 3 or 4 minutes chatting away quite happily. So she is feeling no pain at the moment. So
yeah, Janine Flock's got amazing support here. She knows when to switch it off, have a chat with people, and when she needs to switch it on and prepare for the warm-up and for the race, she will be ready to go.
Tina Hermann will be the first on the ice, on cold, crisp ice. And Janine will be chasing her all the way. There's Jacqueline Lurling's little trolley.
Yeah, so it's a really odd thing to warm up for the push start. It's an awkward thing to run bent over with the sled, so that's a way for the German team practice.
But on a bumpy gravel car park, it sort of is just asking to pull something.
I know, you've got to be careful, haven't you? This is what the athletes have been working all year for.
Yeah, absolutely. So, big crowd on hand. It's a crisp, cold morning, and that means the ice will be fast. And perhaps a little different from yesterday, so that's something they'll have to dial themselves into immediately. Tina Hermann will be first off. She's 1600ths in front of Janine Flock, then 3700ths back to Sophia Grebel, then 100th, 100th, 500ths, 1500th, 100th, 100th. You're getting the picture? Very close, all the way down to Katie Uhlaender. Tiny gap back from her to Kim Meilman, 1700ths back. And down below Jacqueline Naracut, everybody will be trying to fight their way into the top 20 for the 3rd heat, so they can make heat 4. Day 2 of the Women's Skeleton World Championships here in Igls in Austria. Tina Hermann, the leader overnight, first on the ice. Martin Haven and world champion Lizzie Arnold watching the action.
So let's see Tina's push time and see how she compares to yesterday. About the same as yesterday. With a night's rest, and she's reviewed all her notes from yesterday, she's going to be thinking, how can I improve from the sliding from the day before? This is the top flat section of the track, so needs to move as little as possible. She's just leading with her head side to side. You can't see her toes move, which is great. This is the big corner crisis, so see how she is quite high in that corner, looking for the exit. Pretty much in the middle of the track, which is ideal. And now this is the fast section of the track. You don't want any errors at all. This is 120 kilometres an hour. She was actually going sideways a little bit there.
And that's
going to slow her down hugely.
Taking a tiny bit of speed off 119.8 across the line with a 54.04. Fastest yesterday was a 53.96. So that's 0.3 of a second off the track record, which is 53.74 that she set last Sunday in the team race. So, although the ice is fast, it was a little skiddy 9 to 10, she had a little drift, and you actually saw her use her toe for the first time in the run. But
yeah, Tina knows how important this push start is, and you can see she's absolutely going for it. The ice is flicking off her spikes as she comes down into the sled, tucks in as soon as possible. You know, tucking her arms into position. The eyes never move from the corner one. So this is down the bottom section of the track, and the sled looks like it lifts off the ice there. You're going that quickly.
Late height in corner 12, your race leader. And is this make or break now for Janine Flock? Overnight, just 1600 away from her lifetime goal.
So that's her coach, Mickey Grunberger. He's a local here in Austria, and the Austrians find speed in this track like no one else can. Huge amount of support for Janine, and she's desperately going to try and get a faster push time, because that's what she can have over the race leader, Tina Hermann.
5:50, so a couple of hundred slower than Tina Hermann, a couple of hundred slower than she managed yesterday. They were so evenly matched in their starts. She's got to find it on the ice. We saw the replay at the beginning of the show from yesterday. 9 to 10, she was very skiddy in both heats, and that's where she could definitely find some pace.
You can see how Janine is pretty, you know, on the sled, her feet are almost stuck together like glue. She doesn't move about. Her head moves, but her body doesn't move. That's how comfortable she is on the track. So if you watch down this straightaway, you want her not skidding side to side. That looked quite good. And in the fast section of the track, you don't want any skidding at all.
She was 1800s behind. She's now 2600s behind. 119.6, a fraction slower than Tina Hermann. The German has opened up the margin from 16 to 27 hundredths of a second.
That's a huge shame for Janine. I'm sure she didn't expect the lead to actually increase on the third run. She'll desperately be thinking how she can get that gap down. But 3/10 at a short track like Igls, that could be quite a challenge.
Yeah.
So here the straightaway. She had her foot prepared there to steer, but didn't need it. Not over panicking. Here's the fast section of the track. Janine's shoulders stayed down on the sled. Oh, that's quite a big skid there. That would have slowed her down.
Skid 12 to 13, getting sideways. Like with skis, the runners slow you down. You saw the ice coming off them. Well, maybe that opens up an opportunity for our overnight bronze medalist, Sophia Grebel. She came from 12th in the first heat up to third with a stunning second run. She had the 17th fastest start, 8th fastest start in the second heat, but it was just a great combination of a good drive and the ice at its best.
Absolutely. But the ice has recently been spritzed before the start of the race. It will have water over the top of it, which will make it slicker and faster. Sophia being teammates with the race leader, Tina Hermann, I'm sure they've shared notes and worked out how to make their run even faster. And Sophia looks totally relaxed at the moment. So going into Kreisel, we want to see how high she is in comparison to that X-Drive sign. Just above it, looks like a perfect line. Very close to that wall there. She was lucky not to hit it. This is a crucial section, a long straightaway, and her runners were pretty straight the whole way down. That's fast.
Speed at the bottom, 119.1. Tina Hermann, 119.8, so just losing a fraction. She was 53 hundredths behind as she lay down, now 89 hundredths back.
So she's lost more speed, which is quite surprising. Sometimes when you watch skeleton athletes and they look good, you wonder, why was that slow? And possibly because they're oversteering, they're doing too much to get the perfect line.
Got a runner set up maybe that gives her more control at the bottom of the track and gives away some at the top, but you've got to choose these balances.
So this is the push start, and if you look at Sophia's hands and her elbow, that is the sprint position. She's trying to use her arm to propel her legs faster and get more speed at the start. So this is the exit of the Kreisel where she was really close. Watch her come so close to that wall. And a very early exit onto 8 and shooting up there into the corner.
You get bumped away by a lump of ice there just as you turn onto 8 if you're too far to the left. Now, Annie O'Shea in third place after the first heat, and she got bumped out by Sophia Grebel. Now we're in this territory where it's 100th of a second between the sliders. She's 100th out of the medals overnight.
Annie is the best push athlete in the top 4. This is where she can make the difference. 5:37 is a huge gap, a huge start for her. And now she's just got to push all that speed as far down the track as she can.
Well, what does that give her? You know, she was just 100th overnight out of the medals. Is she going to be feeling under pressure or knowing that she can get back in?
So this year, it's been Annie's breakthrough year. She's won a World Cup race at her home track in Lake Placid, so she knows how to compete. I don't think she'd be too nervous because she's been in skeleton in the sport for quite a long time. She looks relaxed, her shoulders are down. You can see how her body's not overreacting, moving from side to side too much. Now in the far section of the track, her head is down, you can see her shoulders are down.
1:18.5 at the bottom, coming out of the final corner, and she moves up ahead of Sophia Grebel, and in fact she moves up by 1800ths of a second from being 100th behind, so that 54.21, third fastest slide.
And I think now the race has just begun, the ice is fast. She had a really good push start, so that speed that she created was the gap at the bottom. So this is the push. And look at the last step here, where Annie's putting absolutely everything, all the velocity she can into the sled. She doesn't actually load completely smoothly.
Helmet hits the ice.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
And this is the straight. She's just moving her body to avoid that wall. It's very small movements going at, 110, 120 kilometres an hour.
Well, she looks happy with that, and so she should. First two of 7 athletes covered by just 1300ths of a second have already gone down. Uhlaender Nikita, 5th overnight, 200ths out of the medals. Massive opportunities for all these athletes now. And Nikita, she's the fastest starter in the field.
Yeah, Elena's push record that she got on the weekend in the team race was 5:11, 5:16. That's 200s faster than yesterday, so she's on form. She's here to win today. And watching Elena's head, you can see her pink helmet just moves from side to side as she's directing the sled.
Well, she started 2100s faster than Annie O'Shea, so she's already overhauled the 100th between them, but it's down now to just 700ths of a second.
This is the crucial technical part of the track, 8 and 9. How she comes out of corner 9 here is crucial down this straightaway, and those runners did go into a bit of a skid, so that will lose a bit of time. But she looks in control, she looks comfortable.
Speed at the bottom, 1:18, might drop her down. She was in 2nd place on the splits ahead of Janine Flock, but comes in 3rd place ahead of Annie O'Shea. So that's a really big move up for Uhlaender Nikita. And Nikita, just 23 years old, the Moscow slider. Start record holder on the Sochi track from the Olympic Games and took the bronze medal. So she's got plenty of potential on a track that she knows well, but with that start...
So this is what Elena's known for, the fastest push in the competition. Her arm slightly comes across in front of her, the right arm that's moving. I prefer to run with a slightly straighter arm, but she is a very good push athlete. And this is the Kreisel, coming out quite central to the run into corner 8, and that's almost a perfect entrance around corner. She didn't shoot up into corner 8.
So she moves into 3rd place with 1 heat to go. Tina Hermann and Janine Flock, your 1-2. Annie O'Shea, Sophia Grebel, 4 and 5. Marina Gillardoni from Switzerland, 6th place overnight. And Marina just 500ths behind Nikita. And she is the 2nd or 3rd fastest starter.
So Marina, being a Swiss athlete, St. Moritz is her home track. That's not too different to Igls. It's a track where you want to start fast, and it's a smooth track, and you're not doing too much steering, and it's not that technical. The problem with Igls is a much shorter track, so the push is more important.
So she was 4,500ths behind after the first heat. She's now closed the gap to the leader down to 3/10.
She had quite a high line there in Kreisel, so yes, hit the wall there on the exit of Kreisel.
Ahead of Sophia Grebel, up to 4th now.
Using her toes on the straightaway, trying to get the sled back online, knowing that there's only 5 corners to go before the finish line.
So short this track.
Yeah.
1:17.8 the speed. The fastest athlete is the first athlete on track. Speeds are dropping with every slider, but a 54.18 slide. That's a good run. That was quicker than Annie O'Shea. She moves ahead of Sophia Grebel and is 300ths behind Annie. as they lie 4th and 5th. Lots of Swiss fans with cowbells coming in support of Marina. I saw them coming up the track this morning just before the start. Big smile as ever.
So here we go in the Kreisel. Look at Marina's sled quite high above that X-Drive sign, and as she comes out of Kreisel, she's going to have a lot of pressure on the exit, and you'll just watch the sled here. It drops, rises up, and it's got a lot of pressure. The only way to go is towards that wall, gets pushed away from the wall, and shoots up in corner 8.
So Marina Gillardoni moves up. Sophia Grebel, who shot up the rankings yesterday, sagging at the moment. And more trouble in store for her, I think, because this is the sensation of the first day. Young Kimberly Boss, first time in any senior level for her. This young Dutch girl, bronze in the Olympic Games, the Junior Olympic Games here in 2012 as a bobsleigh driver. Now, first 4-heat race for her as a skeleton slider. What difference is that going to make?
I was petrified my first 4-heat race because it's over 2 days. You're constantly thinking about the things you got wrong in the first day, writing notes, and you're also exhausted. Going down the track twice a day for 2 minutes is mentally exhausting. Here in Kreisel, Kim will be experiencing 4 Gs of force, and she's desperately trying to think quick enough now. This is the technical section of the track. She just hit the wall. She's trying to react, and she's back online very quickly.
Now, for somebody so young and relatively inexperienced, this is only her 2nd year of skeleton sliding, although she did drive bobsleds. This is a great run, you know, 7th overnight. That must give her such confidence as she moves up ahead of Sophia Grebel. She doesn't, in fact, she's a couple of tenths back.
Yeah, she should be hugely proud of her performance yesterday. What she needs to do is just keep progressing every run, every year, getting a little bit better. But she's done fantastically well. I just can't overemphasise how pleased she should be.
And she's clearly a natural to this because it's just not phasing her at all.
So if you watch Kimberly's feet, her foot position aren't quite as on her toes as other sprint athletes are. Coming from bobsleigh, she has a slightly flatter foot angle. And this is now into corner 9. She's going to hit the wall. Look at that right shoulder. She gets pushed away from the entrance of 9 and then shoots up. And this is down the bottom of the track. Loads of height there. So that's something she can then improve on for the final run.
A big smile from Kimberly Boss, 22 years old, win, lose or draw on this final day of the World Championships. She's had a great day 1. Next up, Elizabeth Arche, 100th behind the 7th place slider. Both our top 2 Canadian girls slipped down the order as the track slowed dramatically yesterday. She wants to move back up.
So Elizabeth being the bronze, she was 3rd place last year at the World Championships. I know she will see a huge opportunity to move up the rankings this morning. Looking all right, actually, so far in the first few corners. She looks very comfortable on the sled, just moving her head a little bit side to side.
When you're only 1200 out of the medals, you know that it is possible to get there in 2 heats.
Absolutely possible. That was a really nice steering on the first half of Kreisel. She's not panicking. She's knowing that there's only 6-7 more corners until the end of the track. Straight as an arrow down that straightaway, carrying the speed into the bottom section of the track.
Nice run from Elizabeth Arche, up to 6th position. So she's overhauling Kimberly Boss. Next target, Sophia Grebel at the line. She is in front of Grebel by some 800ths of a second. So she moves up to 6th position from 8th overnight.
Yeah, I think Elizabeth will be pleased with that. I hope she is.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. I know she has a lot of support with her parents coming out, and there we go. She's really pleased with that push time. She knows how important it is at this short track in Eagles. The knees are high, they're coming right through, and this very fast hand changeover, that last stride, everything going into the sled. I love that dark visor because it's slightly sunnier today. She's got that dark visor, which helps. Down the bottom section of the track, lovely line.
Second fastest speed, 1:19.7 at the bottom. That is on the comeback trail. So too is Jacqueline Lurling, just 100th behind Elizabeth Arche. There's all the men who were competing yesterday.
So Jacqueline Lurling was the silver, and she got a silver in the World Championships last year. So again, an athlete that knows how to compete well and get the medals, and she's an athlete who's going to fight for it now.
Well, last year was her first senior world. She had the slight advantage that it was Westenberg, her home track, but I mean, all the same, first time in the World Championships, and to hold her nerve, you know, and get that silver medal was a stunning result.
Yeah, absolutely. She has had a lot of experience with the Junior World Championships, being the champion 2 years running. But the senior world is a different environment. I had two teammates, especially Tina Hermann, being so good on this track. I'm sure she shared notes. It's a shame, though, on the exit of Kreisel, avoid the walls. You do not want to be hitting walls, and you do not want to be skidding.
She did have plenty of junior experience, as you say, but coming into the senior field and with the Olympic champion to try and beat, it's not easy. I mean, you've been in that situation. You know what it's like coming in as a younger slider.
Yeah, you've just got to ignore everyone's achievements.
Exactly.
Take every race as a, starting again, starting from zero.
And it's not, nobody goes around, you know, with the swagger going, you can't beat me. That's not the kind of sport this is. Everybody knows you can win or lose depending on how the ice treats you.
Absolutely. So Jacqueline made a few mistakes in this run. We're going to go, this is the exit of corner 9, and she's going to get very close to the wall. Watch how close she is there. Just brush the wall. That will slow you down. And this is the fast section of the track sort of sweeping. You don't want your legs sweeping from side to side.
Well, she's had success on this track before, Youth Olympic champion back in 2012. But it's not going to come to her this weekend. Laura Pregelina, the junior world champion. Laura having a great run this year in the junior worlds from Sigulda in Latvia. Saw her teammate Martin Stukas claim gold for the 4th time in the men's worlds yesterday. What inspiration that must be to be training with those guys.
Yeah, I think Martin Stukas got 3 track records in his races today.
Yes.
Phenomenal teammates, and it's been a breakthrough year for Lelda. And she just looks like she believes in herself. You could see her, watch her helmet, her crash helmet, you can see with her eyes, she's looking from side to side, and the sled naturally follows her. She thinks, I want to go right, and the sled goes right. And
her start is really coming on as well. In top half dozen starters, which makes a big difference to your competitiveness anywhere.
That was a perfect line out of the exit of Crichton through this technical section now into 9. I'm sure she's going to have a perfect exit. It is.
She's working a little harder than we usually see Martin Stukas, but then she hasn't got a decade more experience like he does.
That's a really good run so far from Lelda. The shame is, now she's a bit further down the start list. Is the ice going to deteriorate? Probably a little bit.
Looks like it might be.
It's always so hard to stop the sled there. It looks awful, but that's one of the most dangerous parts of skeleton, is trying to stop this sled from travelling at 120 kilometres an hour.
Coach Dennis Stukas, Martin St Thomas's father, with her sled.
So Lelda starts with 2 hands on the sled, gives her a bit more stability. Then we'll go to a single hand, and that right hand, that moving in a really fast action encourages your knee drive to come through. If you watch her knee drive from that right knee, really nice. Everything pushing down forward into the sled.
Nice sprinting action from Laura Pregelina. Lies in 10th place. Tina Hermann, the overnight leader, extending her advantage with 1 heat to go over Janine Flock of Austria. Yelena Nikita moving up into the bronze medal position. 10 of our 26 sleds down. Next up, one of the fastest starters in the field. Lots of support here for Great Britain's Laura Deas. Her teammate Lizzie Arnold alongside me here in the booth watching the action.
So that's a perfect distance for Laura's push there. Her eyes are immediately looking into corner 1. She knows how to race, and I know Laura will want this so badly. She wants to move up from 10th position well into the top 10. Every race is being consistent, every race is progressing. This is a very flat section, so what Laura's avoiding doing is using her toes too much and oversteering the sled. And that's a really nice entrance into Kreisel. If we watch the exit, we want the sled in the middle of the track, quite close to the wall there.
Yeah, lots of people fringing that wall on the left, yeah.
But if you don't touch it, that's okay.
It's okay for us. Well, Well, she was in 11th place overnight, up to 9th at the moment on the split times.
She's just got to hold on to the speed down at the bottom of this track. Don't let anything go away.
1:17.1, same speed as we just seen from Lelda Predjelena, and she overhauls. No, she doesn't. She comes in tied with Predjelena in joint 10th position.
So that's Eric at the bottom of the top of the track there, saying good run for Laura. So whatever they've decided to work on for that run, she must have done correctly.
Well, she and Predjelena were 100th apart after 2 heats. They are now tied. There is the family and friends and support network for Laura Deas.
So Laura's push start is absolutely phenomenal. All the energy goes straight down into the sled, all the velocity forward down into the track. Shoulders are down on the sled and just preparing her toe in case she needs to steer. This is the bottom of the track. Corner 13, a bit of a skid there into corner 13, which I'm sure Laura's got on her notes to improve for the 4th run.
12th after the first heat, 3,700 out of the medals is our Intercontinental Cup champion for this season, the first American to win it, Katie Uhlaender.
Katie, being a previous world champion at her home track in Lake Placid, she knows how to fight for a race. She's had a season off. I think that was last year. She had some time away from skeleton, so hopefully she's back and refreshed and ready for the next 2 years of training before Pyeongchang.
Yeah, she's spent this year getting herself back into fitness and back into form. New Protostar sled. She's now got version 7, whereas previously she was on version 5. So that's another little wrinkle. She's going to take whatever comes this year, because, as you say, it is all looking forward to Pyeongchang.
Yeah, absolutely. The great thing about Katie's driving, when she needs to steer, she does. She's absolutely on point with her driving ability. So going round these corners, as you go into a corner, you've got pressure. Now she's steering. In the pressure, she's steering. Everything is absolutely precise.
Good speed at the bottom, 1:18.7. That's the fastest we've seen since Jacqueline Lurling 3 or 4 sleds ago. So a little bit of speed still left in the track. And she moves up 2 spots because she overhauls Lelda Predjelena and Laura Deas. She was 300s behind Laura, 4 behind Lelda, and she moves in front of them by 1,300s.
So I think you could see on Katie's helmet there, it's a bit scratched by the chin. That's where she's going around the corners and the chin's dragged along the ice through the pressure. This is the long straightaway. You can just see the front of the runners, which means that the runners are straight. There isn't any skidding and she's not losing any speed.
Well, her familiar bald eagle on the helmet and the familiar red hair, much longer now than the last time we saw her competing. Kim Marmont of Belgium. Again, a young slider, and Marmont made her debut at a senior level last year at 18 in the World Championships. She turned 19 during elite competition, and she'll be 20 next year. Started originally sliding for Germany, went to school with Tina Hermann in Bavaria.
I was so impressed with Kim's driving yesterday. Her runs look absolutely excellent, considering she hasn't got that much experience as the other athletes. So what you're looking for is her toes together, her shoulders down on the sled, and that's when an athlete is in control.
Coached by Austrian former world champion Martin Rettel, not only does he know this track, but he also knows how important that aerodynamic form is.
Yeah, absolutely. On a track like this that's very short, the push is important and the aerodynamics are important. This is the technical section of the track, the Kreisel. Let's look at her exit. A bit of a skid there, and she immediately put her toe down to bring the sled straight. That's a really nice line down into corner 10, the last large corner into the labyrinth now. Everything's quick.
1:18.2, decent speed as well, quicker than a couple of the others now. Is she going to close up and move up? 13th place, but she is a couple of tenths behind the 11th place tie. So Kim was 1,700s behind Katie Uhlaender after the first 2 heats.
I think Kim knows that she made a bit of a mistake there on the exit of Kreisel. The difficult thing is Kreisel's halfway down the track. So the push, this is absolutely crucial. Her coach there yelling her to go as quickly as she can. Excellent knee drive. If you watch the hands, reaching all the way back and driving all the way forward. This is the skidding section. Look at those runners going sideways, toe down to bring her straight. And into corner 8. Very late entrance, and she's shooting up because that's the only way to go.
Really had to steer hard there, didn't she? And that's all cost you time. Now the second of our Dutch sleds. This is Joske Lekan from the Netherlands. And Joske And more experience than the two Dutch girls by some margin.
You can do it.
You can do it, says her coach.
So I spoke to Joske yesterday, and she said the push was where she was really focusing today. She was pleased with the runs, but wanted to improve the push, 5:51. And you've got to carry this speed as far down the track as you can.
I've got a couple of large gaps between her and Kim Marmons, and then in front of her, Katie Uhlaender, but right behind, just 200s behind her, is Canada's Jane Channel. So that will be one of the things that she wants to do, is make sure she at least holds her place.
Yeah, it's a relaxed tension in your body at this point in the race. You're desperately holding good aerodynamic form and only steering when you have to. That was a big hit there out of Kreisel. And this is the technical section, corner 9. Really nice line into 10. Hopefully she can pick up some speed. Very late entrance there into 11, but it hasn't affected her at all, actually.
She's got a low line through 11, but again, she have to steer a little hard to hold the sled down.
You're absolutely right.
Takes the speed away, 1:17.5. With this, or Kim Marmons come down, Katie Uhlaender come down mid-1:18s. So a 54.78 slide, yesterday an 81 and an 88, so that's her fastest in the competition. That's been the case for just about everybody so far.
So this is the exit of Kreisel. Watch the sled go towards the wall again, and then into corner 8. Not a bad entrance at all. Joske obviously not panicking there. She's got lots of experience under her belt and knows how to compete.
Next up, Canada's Jane Channel. Her mum, her dad this morning, they're staying in our hotel, come over. They said they weren't expecting last year's World Championships to go so well. It was all a bit late to get to Winterberg, but they were determined not to miss this one.
I absolutely love Jane's start routine. She's mentally preparing herself to give this start. She's an excellent start athlete. Give the start everything she's got.
I checked with her dad how her thumb was, because she missed the handle at the start in the second round yesterday. She's A-OK.
1 foot on the block there. Big push off the block. This is the crucial thing she's going to be focusing on, loading on the sled.
She is a huge starter. 5:31, 5:38 yesterday, 5:32. And she went from 6th down to 15th yesterday.
It was great to see Elizabeth Fatche just shouting at Jane at the start there. Teammates make a big difference to encourage you along in these World Championships.
She's already picked up a spot up to 13th, in fact up 2 places from 15th, and a good run here could see her move much closer to the top 10. The gaps are still very small, little touch there though.
Yeah, it's frustrating that the athletes are struggling with the exit of 7. You've got to get a clean exit and not hit the walls. This is now down into the labyrinth section of the track. Late height in 11, a bit of late height in 12. This is just, I think, a little lack of experience of this Austrian track.
Trying to let it fly. 9th fastest run. She does slip back behind Kim Marmons, but overhauls Joske Lecomte. So she picked up 1 spot. It's a good run, 54.42.
So for the 4th and final run, we'll actually go from 20th position down to 1st. So with, there we go, this is the push start. That last step is crucial. Jane actually just landed on the saddle there. If you saw her leg land on the saddle, so she's got a bit of work to do to make that as efficient as possible. Watching the sled come out of Kreisel and brush the wall again. Perfectly react. Oh, she got pushed away on the entrance of 8 there. I didn't expect that. It's a bit of an ice lump that you get pushed away from.
Yeah. So frustrating times for Jane Channel. Tina Hermann is our race leader. Kendall Westenberg pulled me up this morning. She said, you were giving me too much credit yesterday. She said, I have raced here before. She's in fact been twice to Igls. However, this is her first time in the World Championships, her World Cup rookie season.
Best result was 5th in the Park City World Cup. A slightly late entrance there to corner 3. So looking down to corner 4. Yeah, middle of the track, that's the ideal line. And now this is thinking about Kreisel, the largest in the main corner of the track.
Park City showed what she's got, because she said, I know Park City better than anywhere else. It's my home track. I've got twice the run volume even of somewhere like Lake Placid. When she comes here, though, she's at a knowledge deficit. But when she knows where she's going, she's going to be able to challenge the best.
Yeah, the home track advantage is pretty major in this sport, but you've got a fishtailing in corner 12 there. We'll watch that back in slow-mo.
She's got great speed, though.
She does.
Really let it fly. 54.89.
It's good to see athletes a little bit out of control, because it means they're not oversteering and they're having fun as well.
Well, she remains in 16th position at the moment, didn't pick up a spot, and maybe that little bit of wildness down at the bottom is part of the reason.
So this is exit of 9. Looking at just the front of those runners means she had quite a clean straightaway section. Look at the leg, fishtailing up ahead of her. Not an aerodynamic position, so she would have lost a bit of speed there.
This is why they have to be so flexible and why massage after the run is so important. There's Kendall Westenberg of the USA. Next up, Donna Crichton from Great Britain.
So we're going to send out some huge thank yous from Donna. We'll get her started on the track first. She's a big push athlete. This is the important thing. She's just focusing, giving a big, deep breath out to prepare herself for the push. I love the classical music as well at the start.
Now, that's a horse-themed piece of music, isn't it? As a former... Well, no, is it? Oh, no, I don't know what it is. I was thinking it sounded like the theme from Black Beauty, but it's not.
Absolutely perfect technique from the British athlete. Eyes set on corner 1.
5:45, 5:47 in the first heat, 5:50 in the third.
So, big thank you to Paul and Wendy Manister for letting Donna always stay with you when she's in Bath training. Nigel and Olivia, hello to you both as well. And Elaine and Barry Pamplin, you've always supported her over the years, so thank you so much from Donna. And Andy Roder, her coach. This is why she's such a good push athlete, for all your work, so thank you very much.
She did also say, Andy, would you mind calling her back? Thanks.
Yes, indeed. So this is the bottom section of the track here. Donna's shoulders are down on the sled. She looks very comfortable. High line in 10. See how that reacts in 11. Nice line in 11. This looks quite fast down the bottom here.
1:17.2. And at this stage of the field, the speed is going away a little from the track, so that's not a bad run at all. 55.10. She had a 55.11 in the second heat yesterday, and that was where the speed was already gone from the track. Her fastest, her first heat, 54.96. So all 3 runs within a couple of tenths of each other.
I think the push is where Donna could really improve on this 4th and final run. Needs to keep her jacket. Oh, hello, Team GB. Thank you for supporting everyone. Looking at her knee drive, it comes very close to her chest. She's getting absolutely everything through the toes, looking at the toes onto the ice, digging in with, she's right on the ball of her toe.
You saw Laura in the background there, Laura Deas, Laura's family down there and friends and lots of others. And that family network of support is so important to every athlete, from the newest beginner to the Olympic champion. Without your family and friends, you have got almost nothing to support you. And Lynette Prediger, her husband, is here as well as the rest of the Canadian team around. And he was beating me up this morning. We said that she crushed him far too many times in their personal forerunner battle when we were at the World Cup in Whistler. I'll withdraw crushed. I'll just say led.
So looking at the push here, Lynette was a slightly slower push starter, so I'll be focusing on getting the best push possible, getting the speed down the track.
She started 5:73.74 yesterday, 5:75 today. But what we do know about her from her World Cup experience last year is that she is a nice, quiet aerodynamic slider. And Calgary asks that as well as Eagles, because that's another glider.
Calgary's got an absolutely huge Kreisel. She knows this oscillation pattern. She knows what it feels like to come out of Kreisel. Hitting the wall there on the left. That's a bit of a shame into this technical section. Good steering there. Nice line into 10.
Now 18th, she will be determined to stay in the top 20. The field will be cut to the fastest 20 athletes. She shouldn't have too much of a worry. This is a neat and tidy looking run. And good speed at the bottom, 1:18.2, kilometre quicker than we just saw from Donna Crichton, and 55.12.
Yeah, some athletes have the ability to find speed further down the track that no one else can find. Though the tracks that are longer are more suited to that type of slider. Some other sliders are great on the push start. Here we go, driving forward with her arm, her left arm, and every ounce of energy goes into the loading into the sled. She's not quite looking forward yet, and there we go. She totally trusts her position on the sled. I love looking at Eye of the Tiger, isn't it?
Yeah.
How focused is that?
Well, I always say this sport is all between the ears, and the eyes are exactly where that comes from.
Yeah.
Yulia Kanakina of Russia, 19th after the first heat, 300s ahead of Jacqueline Naracut, who lies 20th. It's a great battle on her hands here.
Yelena has fantastic technique already, even though she's learning and she hasn't been in the sport that long at all. She has excellent perception. When the sled is going where she doesn't want it to, she's reacting with her head, she's reacting with her toes.
Came into the sport as a 16-year-old ballet dancer. So who recruits from ballet, I don't know, but the Russians clearly have.
So the Kreisel here, quite a high first oscillation. See how the exit is. She actually saved that very well. Technical corner 9. And the straightaways where the speed goes from the midsection down to the bottom section of the track.
Trying to overhaul Lynette Prediger from Canada. At the moment, she is in 19th spot from our 19 athletes, so she started faster than the Canadian, but doesn't get her at the line. The gap between them is 25 of a second.
So the fact that it's going to rain this afternoon means that there is quite a lot of humidity in the air. This means that the ice can sort of build up a bit of frost and slow the sliders down. So these later sliders may have a bit of effect of the track. The push start, 2 hands on the sled, and now moving to 1 hand. Looking at the toes, she's right on the ball of her feet. Absolutely driving forward. Everything is going down into the sled, pushing the sled forward.
A real dancer's balance, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And that really helps when you're trying to balance these seesaw sleds. So next up, Jacqueline Naracut from Queensland, Australia. Girl from Bris, Vegas, lying in 20th place. 200s behind her is her biggest threat, or her closest threat, Karina Meyer, for a place in the top 20. And that's vital, because only the fast 20 go through to the 4th and final heat.
Her knees are coming through absolutely in line. Beautiful technique getting onto the sled.
She was getting some chiropractic treatment yesterday from the chiropractic service that's here for the championships.
Jacqueline had a lovely top section of the track yesterday. She struggled a bit in the technical section, so I'm sure she's gone back last night, reviewed the runs, made the notes, and will make the changes today. This is now the crucial part of the track. This will make the difference, moving up the rankings.
Well, like Don Parsons, she is, and Elizabeth Archer, she's a Bromley sled exponent, and she's finding this new sled she changed to this year. She's finally really starting to unlock its secrets. Little skid 9 to 10th.
Yeah, similar to yesterday, a bit of a skid on that straightaway. Late entrance into 11, no consequence in 12. So really good driving technique there. She saved that line.
Better than speed than Kanakina, and she had moved up to 18th, 19th spot. So she almost overhauled Lynette Prediger. There's just 400ths of a second between them. That's Lynette's speed in 14 has kept her in front, but Jacqueline has moved ahead of Yulia Kanakina, who is now in the drop zone in 20th place. So 2 sliders have to go faster to bump the Aussie.
So this is where Jacqueline's struggling. Halfway down, she'll go into a skid, bash the wall a little bit.
That was a good run. She was in fine form this morning. And a bit of AC/DC to play her in. Tina Hermann leads. Our top 20 are down. We have 6 more sleds to come here in Innsbruck.
What a beautiful day.
It's starting to cloud over already here. 20 sleds already down. The race is full for the remaining half dozen athletes. It's go fast or go home time. Karina Meyer of Austria, hometown, home track, 200ths of a second out of the top 20 on day one. She's got to fancy her chances of breaking in.
Yes, absolutely. These athletes have been down this track hundreds of times this season. They know the track better than anyone. You can see that because she's relaxed on the sled. Her toes are stuck together like glue. There's no movement from them at all. She doesn't need to move them. The steering is within her body.
Her target is Russia's Yulia Kanakina, who's currently in 20th place. And at the moment, Karina still outside the top 20 on the split times, but her speed will come lower down the track.
This is corner 9 that can catch athletes out. Very nice line into 10, a higher line, slightly different from the Austrian athletes. And into the labyrinth section, the steering points are perfect, getting all the speed she can out of those corners.
Going to be outside the top 20. She is. She does not make it into the second heat, into the final heat, the fourth heat. Second heat of today. So she will join the other Austrian fans trackside. And I think she knows, without being told, that that might not have been the slide she wanted.
With her first World Championships, Karina should be very pleased from her performance. She's got years of sliding ahead of her, and who better to learn from than Janine Flock? Looking at the push start, absolutely pelting it down. That last step is so important. All the velocity going into the sled, getting her arms into position. Those eyes do not move from looking at the entrance of corner 1.
She's only 20, but she started sliding the ice here at 12 years of age. She was silver in the Youth Olympic Games in 2012 when she was just 16. Our current Youth Olympic champion won the title yesterday, is only 15. Well, Anastasia Schlepak might have a chance of getting into the top 20. She was 2100 behind teammate Yulia Kanakina. And it's Kanakina that she's got to beat.
It's difficult not being able to see her eyes, but that's to protect the athlete's vision. When they're so low down on the ice, they need to be able to see, and they don't want the sunlight getting in their way. Lifting the leg up there, that's a bit of lack of experience, maybe panicking at the top of the track.
And that might have sealed her fate, I fear. A 5:44 was a good quick start, 10th fastest in the field.
Yeah, being 22nd off, she needs to fight, jump up a few spaces to get the 4th and final run. Exit of 7 here, just brushed that wall on the left.
At the moment, she's in front of Karina Meyer. 21st won't do it, though. She's somehow got to catch and pass Kanakina.
I can see some shadows from her using her toes.
Battle of the two 20-year-old Russian rookies, and across the line, 21st place.
Gosh.
She misses out by 1500ths of a second.
That's close. Over 3 runs, you know, 1500ths of a second. It's nothing. It's such a tough sport.
It is. 1500 of a second, that's a quick gear change in a manual-driven car. That's fast.
So the push start here, looking at the toe position. She's only been sliding a few years, but this running technique, running bent over with a 30-kilo sled, is a tough thing to do. This is up at the top section of the track. Look at her left leg. Lifting and actually kicking the wall. You've got to keep the legs down and in contact with the sled to keep control.
Push yourself away from the wall there. So next up is Takako Oguchi, the Japanese, with a bit of an off-form season, not healthy this year, not as healthy as she would like to be at any rate. And Lizzie, you know, you've got to be in perfect form in every way here.
You really do. This push start, your heart rate is, you know, 140, 150, if not higher. Everything goes into the push. And now she's calming the heart rate, relaxing into the sled to focus on driving. And if you're not well, if you're not 100% healthy, this is a really tough thing to do. These corners come at you fast, there's a lot of G-force, and they are big corners.
Well, we saw that in the team race. Matthias Guggenberger, who was supposed to be in the men's race this week, had been suffering with tonsillitis, and the stress of racing, the pressure it puts on the body, he was blacking out because of the side effects of the antibiotics and the pressure. So, in fact, that ruled him out of the rest of the World Championships. Championships.
Yeah, sport is demanding, hey, but it's got to be fun.
Yeah, it does have to be fun. Good news is he's got no ill effects from that, but...
So Takako's got late height in 11 here, and she controlled it really well.
1:15.3 at the bottom. That's the lowest speed we've seen, so the track is definitely slowing dramatically this morning.
Unfortunately, no fourth run for Takako.
No, she will join the fans trackside. And may well see her in the final World Cup race of the season, which comes up next week at Koenigsegg in Bavaria.
She was 24th in the World Championships last year, so if she came 23rd this year, that is still progression. It's improving.
Yes, definitely.
The push start, crucial part. You can see the ice coming off of her shoes. That's how warm the ice is now getting. And that last stride, swooping down into the sled. She really trusts her position because she's not looking forward, she's relaxed. This is corner 8, and the sled just, you know, there's nowhere to go. The sled has to go up in these corners.
Newly married last summer, and currently lying in 23rd spot. Maria Montiano with her brother with the sled. Her dad is here as well, was chatting to them at the top of the track this morning. And going for her last run in the World Championships. She knows that, it doesn't faze her. She's still in the learning and development program.
I love the red crash helmet of the Spanish athlete. She struggled a little bit further down the track yesterday, but this top section again looks really nice and smooth. She's learning, she's developing every year, getting a little bit better and better.
Again, the dark visor, so you don't see her Bambi eyes at the top of the track.
Yeah, toes just moving a little bit. If you watch her toes on this straightaway, just tap down twice there to get the ideal line to Kreisel here. Watch the exit. Just touching the wall, scratching the wall there.
Her entrance into the sport was a strange one. Her friend Ander Mirambel, who slides for Spain as well, she used to pick him up from the airport occasionally and eventually decided to leave to a track with him.
So the final few corners a little bit messy there, but nice final corner.
Good speed at the bottom, 1:16.7. That's as quick as anybody we've seen in the last half dozen sleds. There's her dad.
Her family is so pleased to be here supporting her. She's been injured this year, you know. Just to be here is a huge achievement, and she's actually sliding really well, every year improving. And I love that we have a community. These are friends. This is a community.
Well, her and Sarah, where Sarah's been sliding for Slovenia for several years, they travel everywhere together. They are the deadly duo together.
She's going to skid into this corner 13 here, but back online quite quickly before 14.
Yep. So, partners in crime, they share accommodation and cars and everything.
That's what it means. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Last slider.
Well, last but one, Katie Tannenbaum from the Virgin Islands. And again, another world traveller. Katie went home to the Virgin Islands, 30+ degree heat at the Christmas break, and then back to well below zero for her competitive career.
So her shoulders swinging from side to side as she's running. It's such a tough thing to run bent down. Her eyes again focused into corner 1. Really nice line into corner 2. For those less experienced athletes, it's really hard to get your head around all 14 corners and learn what to do.
Because this track particularly doesn't forgive any errors, does it? Perfection has to be, you have to have it.
Yeah, it's a track where a beginner can come and get down safely, but to do this track well, it's really hard. It takes years of practice. This corner 7, the Kreisel, is a crucial corner. Bashing on the exit there is not ideal. It will slow her down. This is the tough corner that she's actually got pretty good. Unfortunate skid there.
Got a little too much pressure out and sent her sideways down the straightaway.
And now the track's a bit faster. She's finding it a bit easier to get the steering point spot on.
And that's because there's more G-force pushing the sled onto the ice. It's more stable, right?
It is. The G-forces change in every corner, and you just got to react. You've got to feel the sled. That's why you need your shoulders down on the sled to feel the pressure.
56.62, final slide for Katie Tannenbaum. Talking to her this morning, she said, I want to improve my start, and she did that.
Watch the sled just bash on that left-hand corner, and the answer to that is panicking into corner 8. And exit of 9. Nice exit. Unfortunately, the sled went into a massive skid. into turn.
Feet apart is to stabilise the sled. It puts weight on the little grooves on the back of the runners, which stops the skid. Takes its time to happen, though, at that speed. Marta Orlowska of Poland is our final slider in the third heat of 4 in the Women's Skeleton World Championships. Made her international debut last year in the World Championships.
Just hitting her legs there to wake up her legs after the first day of competition yesterday. Everything is going to go into this run for Marta.
Real focus down into these first 2 corners, because they are so important, aren't they? Of the 14 corners here, 1, 2 and 3 might be the most crucial.
Absolutely, because it is so flat, any mistake you make here will be magnified further down the track. Her head's low, she looks in control, the sled is skidding a bit and hitting over the place, but now back online, which is great. You've got to get the sled back online quickly. Into Kreisel here. Now we're going to watch the exit. Ideally, she'd be in the middle of the track. Bit of a bash there on the exit of 7.
She's tidied up a couple of the errors that crept in the first day of competition. Big height in corner 10, but gets the exit right down the middle into the labyrinth.
Bit of height on 12, and now this is the last and crucial corner into the finish line.
Hits the wall after the timing eye, which is all good. Hurts just as much as if you hit it beforehand, but it doesn't damage your time so badly.
It's just a minute a day or 2 minutes a day, but they are 100% effort and sometimes quite painful.
Yeah, I've seen some of the bruising, especially shoulders and upper arms. It's just ugly, isn't it? So there's Marta Orlowska. She rounds out the third of 4 heats of the Women's Skeleton World Championships.
Yeah, down at the bottom of the track here, the ice sort of being broken away from the track. Final corner, so much height. These corners are huge.
So Marta Orlowska of Poland will join 5 other athletes watching the final heat as we cut our field from 26 to the fastest 20. They will go in reverse order. First on the ice will be Russia's Yulia Kanakina, and the girl who looks most likely to take the title away from Lizzie Arnold, sitting beside me, of world champion, if not Olympic champion, will be Tina Hermann. She will be last to go. What will she be doing for the next hour, Lizzie?
I used to sleep. I'm not sure what Tina will be doing, but right now, warming up, ready to try and become a world champion.
Wow. World and Olympic champion Lizzie Arnold sitting alongside me, watching Tina Hermann extend her lead after 3 heats over the hometown queen, Janine Flock. Uhlaender Nikita slipped up into 3rd. Annie O'Shea and Marina Gillardoni could definitely challenge her. Elizabeth Vachi, Sophia Grebel, Kimberly Boss, and especially Jacqueline Lurling will be looking to move back up again in the next heat. Katie Uhlaender in 10th for the USA. She'd like to move up a spot or 2 as well. And there are still battles to be had down the order. Right behind Uhlaender, a dead heat for 11th spot. And behind Yulia Kanakina, her teammate Anastasia Schlapak, Karina Meyer, Takako Oguchi, Miriam Montiano, Katie Tannenbaum and Marta Orlowska will join the fans trackside. You join us too, please. Elizabeth Arnold and me, Martin Haven, the rest of the IBS TV crew, for our final run in the Women's Skeleton World Championships. We're on air at 11:15 local, that's 10:15 GMT. Wherever you are, morning, afternoon or evening, please come and join us and see who will win the world title.